my siblings were really young, so they may not remember this, but I remember like it was night and day. Years ago in Alabama, we were left in a car for a while some errands were being run. I don't say what adult did it because I'm not really sure of that. My memory on that is fuzzy, but the heat and sitting on those caramel colored seats in close to 100-degree weather, and I think the summer in the state of Alabama, I remember it being summer season, was deafening because the heat is so hot. It made me tired and sleepy, and we all eventually slept and sweat. But even worse is trying to get a nap on leather seats with no tinted windows in Alabama heat. And if you live in the South, you know that heat and humidity combination in the summer months is brutal. I do remember, I think, calling out to God to please let me live because I knew it was hot enough that it was treacherous. And my sweaty skin, I never forgot that day. And I always remember thinking if I grew up and had a child, which I'm not a mother, I would never leave them in a hot car. Look, I know some of you do it by accident. You weren't thinking at the time. You needed to take care of something, so your panic mode set in. Here's the thing. I know even that comment will draw ire because I'm not a parent. I'm trying not to take the judgmental route. What I am going to say is that children and pets being left in cars never has been and never will be okay. I don't say this to condemn you. I don't say this to be mean. But you have to be consciously aware that they don't have the power that you have as an adult. If you keep that baby strapped in that car seat, that baby cannot move. If you tell that child to stay still and they don't have anywhere else to go, the fear of what could happen to them if that opens that door will keep that child in that vehicle. There could be outliers to this. Some people just couldn't find childcare. Some people think that they've disciplined them well enough that 5 minutes, 10 minutes doesn't make a difference, and the next thing you know it's turned into 20 minutes, and now they're saying it only takes 20 minutes now for that child to start getting sick. 20 minutes is all it takes if it's hot enough. I bring this subject up because I know some people in my comments will say, well, this happened to all of us as a kid. You said yourself this happened to you in the 1980s. But let's be honest with ourselves. We knew it wasn't okay then. And we knew then when we walked by cars, we saw children sitting in the car or pets. We felt empathy. So this is just not an okay practice. Now, I know some of y'all are listening and you'll think, yeah, this happened to me as a kid and I survived. And a whole lot of you have also had this happen to you as a kid where you were left in a hot vehicle and your attitude is, oh, I survived. It's not that big a deal. The worst ones are the adults who do get involved because they see that that kid is suffering. Then you find out the parent got upset. But then my attitude is, you can't dislike people for caring. I'm happy that we're at a point that people care now enough to not keep those babies in those cars suffering. That doesn't make any sense. This was never okay. And this is one of those things where some parents are actually getting off. Oh, it was just an accident. Are you sure it was always an accident? Because when you're going and having a meal in a restaurant and you kept that kid in a car, what make you think they didn't want to eat and get hydrated as well? When you run into a store, no excuse, because children can be put in buggies with you while you shop. You just don't want them touching things and asking questions. Let's be honest. That's why a lot of this persists. There's a myriad of reasons. You just haven't learned how to discipline them. And therefore, because you deep down think they are an embarrassment, you don't take them in the store. And look, this isn't just the mothers. Some fathers are guilty of this as well. And people will say things like, well, if they deliver groceries from home, it's more expensive. True, but there are still buggies that fit children, and they're becoming more child friendly. So why is it that these buggies with their own little strap-ins to carry kids in air-conditioned grocery stores, why is it that the more we offer those services, the more children are being unalived in cars, being harmed in vehicles, even when we know that there's reasonable transportation in the store geared towards helping those children? And I'll say this in some parents' defense. Sometimes people pass judgment. We know this. You have to get to a point where those people's judgment don't matter as much as that child's life does. Even as that little girl sitting in that hot car with that blistering heat hitting on that caramel colored leather, because as you know, that heat's gonna hit that seat. And then you're wearing shorts, so that doesn't help it either, in short sleeve shirt, and naturally you would be because it's summertime. At this point, as I close and get some music going, can we acknowledge that the things that our parents before us put us through, despite their resources, that although we're not judging it completely, that it just wasn't okay? And that it's time for some of it to be minimized, if not completely go away.